Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
Oh, there I am. All right. Woo. Back in the saddle. Brad Shaw with you here on a Monday afternoon, 104 on a hot, but not oppressively hot. Like I said, I had to get away. Went way far south to avoid the avoid the heat. Back in the control room here at Webcast One Live Studios. And beautiful, and it's between the hours of 11 and 1, so there are people here. Kaleidoscope at the hub. It's been busy while I've been gone. I hope everyone had a wonderful 4th and didn't set anything on fire, most of all themselves. I didn't see, did we start any fires? I know it's been so dry, like corn prices are shooting like through the roof. It's like $7 a bushel now. Corn, because it's so hot, we are officially in drought. There's like, one chance of rain every 2 weeks, just crazy weather. But it's nice, things are back to normal, back to the mid-80s. I will take this again. I don't have to shovel heat. Although I did anyone else, like, when the temperature got to be 100, it was like driving in the rain. People just, I don't know, everyone just got a little feisty, get a little short-tempered, and a lot of bobbing and weaving, cutting people off. But hopefully now everything we can return to our happy place, our moments of zen, hanging out in the Midwest. All right, fun stuff today. This might be as good as it gets for Mitt Romney. And again, I know a lot of pundits. I'm going to give you a list of reasons I wish, were true, and things that I wish were the case, and conventional wisdom says, but in reality, honestly, this may be as good as it gets. Other than the convention bump, because that everyone gets that. Mussolini could run and would get a convention bump. Other than that, this could be the tops. And Barack Obama is more than happy to toss Mitt Romney some anchors. Here you go. Good again, better politician than Firebrand, his desire to compromise. Well, we'll get into that. First, though, the big news, of course, fun stuff always happens when I take some time off. In this case, the rededication of the USS Iowa. A lot of money went into making it, a permanent display. It was a very prominent battleship back in its day, so a lot of money and a lot of effort. And again, it's just a state pride thing. So Governor Branstad flies out to California to attend the rededication. You grab another, bottle of cold duck and have a good time. The cold duck, not for drinking, not for human consumption. You hit it against that kind of thing. And I saw that the governor choked on a carrot. And I don't know what it is about Republicans. Snack food, it never goes well. Pretzels, carrots. At some point, someone will die because of a Funyun, and I'm guessing they'll be a supporter of the Tea Party, and that's unfortunate. Maybe the governor in his advance age should stick to the salt. Maybe some hummus. Just use your finger. You seem clean. But ended up choking, vomiting, and first off, in an overabundance of caution, Governor Branstad was taken to the hospital. And everything's fine. He was back for events that night, and this is a good thing. Again, I don't wish ill, but I just wonder if, while choking, because we've all had, something goes down the wrong pipe, and that's annoying, but, like, I have a hunk of cow lodged in my windpipe, and boy, howdy, this sucks. Yeah, I've never had the Heimlich or anything, but I just wonder through that moment, this isn't right, to, okay, we're back at the party, and let's just pretend we never barfed. Did the thought ever cross Governor Branstad's mind? Like, I'm sure glad that even though I wasn't in any immediate danger, just like I could just hop in a car, be taken to the hospital, and not give it a second thought. Like, did that thought ever cross his mind? I have to, again, I'm not going to try to get into the mind of Terry Branstad because I'm afraid of small spaces. I'm guessing it didn't. Otherwise, well, his legislative agenda wouldn't make any sense. More information, more studies. We do the polls, we do the digging on his decision. Knee-jerk reaction, I would say. Saying that in the state of Iowa, we will not accept an expansion of Medicaid, even if the federal government picks up the 100% of the tab for the first 3 years, 90% of the tab after that. I'm not going to do it. And that, I think, is the definition of a knee-jerk reaction. And probably one he will end up having to eat, and unlike carrots, I don't know if he'll choke on this one so much, and I don't think there's a medical cure. But digging into the numbers, and this is from the Urban Institute. Now, they ran these numbers in 2011, but I think apropos to what we're talking about here. The governor announces that Iowa will not expand Medicaid coverage. And what the Affordable Care Act does, it broadens the base of people that can go to Medicaid. One, it lowers the number of uninsured. And one of the important things, it transfers a lot of people from expensive programs to just Medicaid proper. And all told, could save Iowa between 2014, when this all kicks in, and 2019. $1.9 billion. Here's how. Mental health patients get moved to Medicaid, and instead of matching funds, government picks up 90% of the tab. You're receiving long-term care. Right now, it's a 50-50 split. We move that to 90-10. Or for the first 3 years, 100 to 0. And that doesn't even include the cost of the uninsured. We've talked about this before. Every time you go to the hospital and they charge you $75 for an Advil. And part of that is just the cost of, building a hospital to deliver you the Advil. So some of that's just going to be built in. It's like buying stuff at the airport. The other side to that is that helps cover the costs of the uninsured, who wait for chronic conditions to become acute, then go to the hospital for the most expensive care you can, the emergency room. And since we've put a lot of work into this, but getting blood for a turnip is hard. You can't give someone with no money $25,000 in medical bills, or even $5,000, and expect it to get paid. So those costs get moved on to the rest of us. It gets subsidized by the insurance companies. That's uncompensated care. And would save us $1.9 billion. But Terry Branstad will say no to that. Forget just the obvious factor of, hey, here's anywhere between 115 and 150,000 Iowans who are currently uninsured, uncovered. Hope you don't get hit by a bus. Hope nothing starts growing abnormally inside you. Who will now have health insurance. So if they, say, choke on a carrot, don't have to weigh the pros and the cons of going to the hospital. They can go, much like our governor does, due to an overabundance of caution. So they can receive, a minimum level of care. That's why I would like to think that Terry Branstad is a decent enough human being to at least have that thought. But I think he's a cynical enough politician. That part's been burned away. I don't know if there's like the Rose Kennedy Institute of Conservative Studies, They drill a hole, take the wire, do a little, get rid of that compassion thing. Even self-awareness in a lot of cases. And just, I don't know, maybe there's something about being a leader that's taking care of your people. Even Governor Branstad, a devout Catholic, because I'm pretty sure once you get past the no condom stuff, which is a little dicey these days, compassion, taking care of the weak, the least among us, is a big part of that discussion. And I don't think it's one that you're allowed to just toss away. But then again, we live in a country where no one will ever be denied communion for screwing over poor people. It's just the country we live in. I'll let other people fight that battle because it's all crazy to me. But looking at these states, Wisconsin could save $4 billion. Indiana could save 1.7. These are all governors who have said, we're not going to take part. Nevada could save $500 million. And then this morning, Governor Rick Perry, Texas. Remember how fun those debates were. The worst healthcare delivery in the country. The Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality judges states by 12 different categories. Texas shows up as weak or very weak in 9 of those 12. 25% of Texans, it's over 6 million people, are uninsured. A lot of these southern states, Florida is another one, where even living at the poverty level won't get you Medicaid. They run it as cheaply as possible. On the front side, the price is very cheap. The cost actually turns out to be very high. Now, this Medicaid expansion would cover almost 2 million people in the state of Texas. They're the ones we know about. And then how many people now are under the radar who are eligible or at least would apply and be turned down, that will come out. They call it the woodwork effect. They come out of the woodwork now that they're eligible. So between 1 3/4 and 2 million Texans would be covered. And those are hospitals that would be compensated. And that's why I really think, much like the aforementioned carrot, this is a knee-jerk reaction. Some of these governors are going to end up choking on because it's going to be the health insurance industry who is helping subsidize the costs. And what Wellmark wants in the state of Iowa, Wellmark gets. Hospital associations, would you rather receive 50 to 70% reimbursement or zero? You choose. Take your time. I'll let you decide. Those are some pretty potent forces. And they are going to push these governors hard. Now, not till after November, so Terry Branstad will continue to grandstand. But here's one thing you have to understand about our governor. He is always ready to follow. He has the courage to get in line behind others. And those 115,000 Iowans, those billions of dollars of savings, those billions of dollars in federal funds, I don't think he's going to be allowed to say no to him. I don't think he's going to be allowed to grandstand. So now the question is, how do we... I'm sure there's some way to blame Democrats for this. There always is. But I don't think the insurance industry, doctors, the AMA is going to get involved here. Hospital associations are simply not going to allow Governor Branstad this grandstand. We'll talk more about it when we come back. The email address, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Always interested in what people have to say. Follow me on Twitter. I've been told a little too much. Twitter is a great sort. It's almost like a Cliff Notes for the news. Everything is short and to the point. You can go link to, read things elsewhere. And you can say snarky things to Chuck Grassley and the Iowa GOP. They're a lot of fun. You can find me on Twitter, at Radio Bradshaw, twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw, if you just want to see what it's all about. But again, I'm not a hot or not guy. I don't like Facebook because I don't want to change my privacy settings every 48 hours to keep, Crest from spamming me like crazy. Whatever the crazy stuff Facebook does. Don't like the Facebook. I could do a hot or not. What do you think? I'm at least a 6.5. Okay, maybe not. But I love the Twitter. So twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. Stop by, say hi, follow me there for fun and frivolity. We'll be back after this on webcastonelive.com, fallonforum.com. Thanks for watching. Back after this.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
What's the matter, distressed homebuyer?
I've been trying forever to buy a home, and I'm having a terrible time. I wish I knew where to go for help.
Well, I'm Joe Henry, licensed realtor, and I'm here to save the day and help you buy your home. I've been helping people buy homes in central Iowa for over 10 years. I've even got a full-size truck to help you move.
My hero. Thank goodness I found you. Make Agent Joe Henry your homebuyer hero, too. Visit agentjoehenry.com. That's agentjoehenry.com.
If your computer's not running up to speed, don't waste any time with 1-800 numbers. Call your local professional at Mid-Iowa Computers. Known for excellent customer service, they can help you with all your computer needs, including 100% electronic malware removal. If you've just had enough of your computer or other electronic device, bring it in to Mid-Iowa Computers and they'll recycle it for free. For more information, visit midiowacomputers.com or call 515-210-8536 and get your computer fixed by someone you can trust.
I'm a burrito.
I'm a fighting burrito, full of fresh ingredients prepared before your very eyes.
I don't have eyes.
I have over 28 options and 268 million combinations, including Rizo for vegetarians.
I can take my meat off and call myself vegetarian.
Put that back on. The Fighting Burrito is locally owned right here in Ames.
I'm owned by some big corporation somewhere. Say, you want to go on a date?
No thanks. I'm seeing a quesadilla.
The Fighting Burrito in their new location at 117 Welch Avenue by Iowa State. Online fightingburrito.com. Join the fight.
I love driving to Newton to see the races.
Me too, but I only have to drive across town.
You live in Newton?
Yep, Newton's got small town charm and it's close to Des Moines. I love the safe, friendly neighborhoods and family-owned businesses. And Newton's wind energy industry is really taking off.
How'd you find your home?
Dan Kelly with First Choice Realty. And Dan helped me find my office too.
Next time, instead of just speeding by, I'll stop in and check out Newton.
Why don't you check out Newton? Call Dan Kelly at 641-521-9260 or Dan Kelly at mchsi.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's time to start.
Rock concert movement number 1.
We're back.
The basic head bob. Ready, go.
All right, 122 Bradshaw with you here on a beautiful Monday afternoon in the capital city. No, it's not going to rain. You just record that and pretty much play it now through the end of August. And I'll be right, 98% of the time or something crazy like that. All right, coming up later on in the program, we'll dig into exactly what Morgan Stanley was doing. Some good news from the IRS, and how often do you get to say that? And the president is showing some, and I don't want to offend the ladies because ovaries can do the same thing, but the president showing a little testicular fortitude. It's amazing what an election can do. And why, again, conventional wisdom is rarely wise. That's all coming up. First one, digging more into Governor Branstad's health care grandstanding, knee-jerk reaction. Now, this all started when the Supreme Court upheld the mandate. But one thing that was struck down, and this is the way the federal government promotes policy, is by attaching, rule X, Y, Z to, a policy decision. If your speed limit is not 55 miles an hour, you will lose your highway funding. If your drinking age is below 21, we will cut your highway funding. One of the mechanics of the Affordable Care Act was if you don't expand your Medicaid rolls, you will lose Medicaid matching funds for the state. And this is something that comes up when Iowa Republicans or Bob Vanderplatts are trying to grandstand, usually on abortion. Right now the rule is that you need to cover cases of rape, incest, mother's life. And Republicans, again, know it will never be passed, but people like Kim Pearson, it's kind of like a shark isn't very smart, but it's a very good hunter because it just has that little part of the brain that does crazy stuff. It's the same thing with people like Kim Pearson. Not very smart overall, but are smart enough to know what will get a camera put in front of their face, and trying to get the state to not cover, abortion in the case of rape, incest, and life of the mother. Again, is a good way to draw some media attention, but passing it is also a good way for a state to lose its entire Medicaid funding, and they're okay with that because they know it will never happen. It's a safe bit of pandering. You can throw out some red meat, and Democrats, in many cases, won't make hay over it. I'm always down for making fun of, the Kim Pearson and Ken Sorensens of the world, just because they're not that good. They don't get anything done. They're very loud. But what the Affordable Care Act originally said was, if you don't expand your Medicaid rolls and allow us to pick up the tab, you're going to lose all your Medicaid funding. That was struck down. So states can keep their original Medicaid funding, but they can forego the increased money. And I don't know how many states are actually going to do that when push comes to shove. And I'm guessing after November, a lot of these knee-jerkers, like Governor Branstad, who, again, is more than happy to stand in front of a camera, clutch his pearls, and reach for the fainting couch. But when it's time to actually implement the program, it's time to, all right, it is D-Day. We go or not. You see the true courage of his convictions. And I don't think Governor Branstad will be allowed. I think he would be perfectly fine saying FYI GM to 115,000 Iowans who would be on the expanded Medicare rolls, or Medicaid rolls, excuse me. Personally, I don't think they enter his equation. They're probably not voting for him in the first place. So why should he care what they think? But remember, 2014 is a gubernatorial election year. And if he wants to pass along the mantle from Kim Reynolds, maybe she's the one who breaks, I'm my own woman. And this is her way of, reaching independence and being a compassionate conservative lapdog. But at the end of the day, Iowa will not refuse. Again, $2 billion in savings, millions of dollars in federal funds, and by the way, millions of dollars that flow to insurance companies, hospitals, doctors, people who donate enough money to have the governor's ear. I don't think he'll be able to do it. It's nice to see some attention being paid. Kaiser Health News picks up on hospitals, doctors, and insurers are likely to bring strong pressure, talking about Republican governors grandstanding right now, to accept the expansion. Providers want the expansion to pay for the treatment of the uninsured. Insurers want it because states are increasingly shifting Medicaid enrollees into private managed care plans that they operate. And I'm guessing, and it depends on how November goes, and I think November is not going to be a happy time for a lot of Republicans, which is going to be fun to watch. I mean, you saw the right wing freak out over the Obamacare ruling. Imagine Obama's reelection. And not just, again, from the typical pearl clutchers, and not from just the freak the bleep out, outrage of the day machine. But from the dupes and the marks. And I say mark not as, people with that name, but the way wrestling, the people who, 1 minute and 45 seconds into the match, Hulk Hogan's going to run out carrying a large American flag, and we're going to watch the crowd pop because all the marks are going to go crazy. Basically, the people who watch Fox News, listen to talk radio, and believe it. The people who think that Fox News is actually fair and balanced. And they give both sides, the Republican Party and the Tea Party side, and allow me to decide. Those folks who have been told for, at that point, 4+ years now that Obama's coming to take their guns. And remember, we surround them. Most Americans own a tri-corner hat. They're just not putting it on because Obama's going to send them to a FEMA re-education camp. The birthers, the deathers, all the kooky groups have in fact, Obama is such, an American, anti-American, socialist, Kenyanist, statist, Muslim, usurper, and he's a little uppity. What happens when he wins, and then how does Sean Hannity go, well, I guess more Americans like him. Oops, we didn't take back the Senate. Oops, we didn't grow our lead in the House. How do you explain that to the true believers? That's going to be fun to watch. So depending on how things turn out in November, it's a very easy fix, by the way. Just redo Medicaid, at least the rules, so that it's not part of the Affordable Care Act. It's just, hi, this is the new Medicaid program, and we're making changes. And you're going to cover this many people, and we're going to pick up 90% of the tab. You're welcome. Instead of having the penalty mechanism in there. So that's an easy switch. So who knows? Congress may end up going around these grandstanding Republicans in the first place. But I don't think the health industry, again, is going to let Branstad and friends do this. So the question will be, how will they, be able to back out? And I'm guessing after the initial knee-jerk reaction, we're not going to hear a ton from Governor Branstad. The real fun part is going to be, will Iowa set up its own exchange? This is also part of the Affordable Care Act, and what it will allow is for businesses, people, you will basically a big bid board, metaphorically speaking, be able to price your coverage. Now, each state is allowed to set up their own. States that don't will automatically be put into the all-encompassing one-size-fits-all federal program. Again, I'm guessing Wellmark would prefer that not happen. The problem is, to do this, Branstad will probably have to end up sitting down with Democrats, and that's going to be fun. Because he's in sort of the Romney position. If I proceed, even as a conservative, as a Republican, to work with Democrats, the right side of my base is going to start throwing fresh fruit at me. And maybe some unfresh ones. And using words that aren't found in the Oxford Dictionary. If I appease them, Democrats are going to shine a spotlight on me and talk about how I'm pulling the plug on grandma. We'll just use that phrase. So it's kind of a no-win scenario. Congratulations, Governor. You're in the Kobayashi Maru. So how, because again, a very nimble politician probably could, but we're talking about Governor Branstad here. He's very, all or nothing. I don't know if he has the political capital, which he probably does, even among Democrats who may not have voted for him. Again, Branstad is familiar enough. For example, Friends was a horrible TV show, but we're familiar with it, so we'll still stop when it's on reruns. Oh, it's the one with the monkey. Governor Branstad is like that, and he has the political capital to get a lot done in this state. But he's not very good at wielding it. He can't keep his own party in line. And they make it a lot harder to reach across the aisle and work with Democrats. And Branson has a little bit of little man's disease, which I think fueled this initial knee-jerk reaction. I don't want to be told. I'm Terry Branson. I tell people what to do. Little Napoleon with a mustache. I think he reacted very poorly to being told he had to do something. It's his job. Don't tell me what to do. It's my job to tell the DNR that you can, use lead shot wherever you want. Don't tell me I have to give $500,000. Forget, we have $1 billion rainy day fund, and revenue projections are actually better than we expected in the state. Don't tell me I have to give $500,000 to Iowa food banks. Screw you. He does not take he doesn't take demands well. He likes giving them, obviously. The example I give, Isaiah McGee. The Senate said, we're not confirming him. The guy was not smart enough to just take his executive, he was put at the head of the Iowa Civil Rights Commission and wasn't smart enough to sit down, shut up, and wait for confirmation before trying to completely blow the place up. And the Senate said, we're not going to confirm him. People are leaving in droves. He instituted a gag order. And Governor Branstad reacted to that by giving the guy an $80,000 a year consulting job in the education department. How do you make that connection? Governor Branstad doesn't like being told to do things. He doesn't like being told no. But what happens when he comes across, a couple $1 billion for the state? Is Terry Branstad's ego potent enough? And does he have the backbone to tell Wellmark to take a flying leap? I don't think he does. I just don't know how he can make that switch. But we'll see. And I think this will make a good election year. This is the beauty of what the right wing has created. This unappeasable base that is just constantly churning with, we're not happy. What are we unhappy about? Spin a wheel, it'll land on something. That's the Republican base these days. This is what the Tea Party hath wrought. And any attempt to appease them is going to lose you independents, Reagan Democrats. But I want to see Terry Branstad again have to make the argument, the federal government's broke, but don't shut down my fighter wing at the Des Moines airport. The federal government's broke, but you shouldn't cut farm subsidies. We should have bigger ethanol subsidies. The federal government's broke. And that was his argument. He said, I don't trust the federal government. They're broke. Which again shows Terry Branstad is smart enough to understand that it is literally impossible for the federal government to become broke. We can now borrow money. Well, in France, they're selling bonds with a negative interest rate. I will pay you 0.05% to store my money in your bonds. That's France. Same thing will probably be coming stateside before too long, but it's certainly below. You can get money for below the level of economic growth and just below the rate of inflation. You can get free money. Somewhere, a guy in a horrible suit covered with question marks is doing somersaults. Matthew Lesko is proven correct. But Governor Branstad would say, we're broke. P.S. Don't shut down these rural post offices. That, to me, is a very good election year issue. And it's going to be fun to watch. If Democrats have the stones to put up the fight in this case, they actually might. Well, I don't include Leonard Boswell. Yeah. For such a brave guy, he's really politically cowardly. We'll see if Christy Vilsack's team is smart enough to pick up on this. But the president throws down another gauntlet today. And we'll see what the Romney response is. Because I think this is high tide for the Romney campaign. I'll explain that and the gauntlet next. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. And follow me on Twitter @RadioBradshaw, twitter.com/RadioBradshaw. Again, highly recommend the Twitter. Great source of breaking news. And I'm always interested in what people have to say. So email anytime, although the people who are emailing at 3 in the morning is a little creepy. I'm certainly not thinking about me at 3 in the morning. You shouldn't be either. That's just kind of where I live. So email me, find me on Twitter, and when we come back, this is going to be such a... Well, we have 3, 4, 5 months till Election Day. It's going to be a fun ride. I'll explain why next. It's Bradshaw on WebcastOneLive.com, FallonForum.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
This moment of silence brought to you by Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering, home of Des Moines' premier rooftop dining experience. Located in the heart of Beaverdale, Tally's offers speedy and affordable rooftop lunch, catering for events both large and small, innovative cuisine, as well as vegetarian and gluten-free menus. Come to Tally's for live music, dry-aged steaks, Sunday brunch, and all-you-can-eat ribs every Monday night. Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering at 2712 Beaver Avenue. Call 279-2067. That's 279-2067.
With warm weather finally here, it's time to think about upgrading the efficiency of your furnace and air conditioner. Leonard Tinker Heating and Cooling has provided honest, competent service for over 20 years. Whether it's your home or business, for repair work or to install a more energy-efficient furnace or air conditioner, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422. That's 263-0422. For honest, competent heating and cooling service, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422.
Community CPA is the 15th largest CPA firm in Iowa, providing audit, tax, and accounting services. Community CPA specializes in international tax treaty and double taxation avoidance among countries and states. 9 dedicated, experienced, hardworking staff are the company's foundation, and their compassion towards every client is the secret behind Community CPA's success. At Community CPA, you can expect quality service year-round. Call 288-3188. Community CPA, 3816 Ingersoll. Experience the difference.
Wow, some wedding.
Yeah, I've never seen a bride in coveralls.
Right, and skipping down the aisle to accordion music.
Not to mention the reception. That wedding cake was a freaking fruitcake.
It's your wedding. Don't leave anything to chance. Diana's Wedding Cakes. Using only the finest, freshest ingredients with free on-time delivery and setup. Choose one of Diana's custom designs or create your own. Call Diana's Wedding Cakes, 641-275-9279. That's 641-275-9279.
Of a new era begins.
Feeling alone? God knows and He understands. Chat now with someone who cares at groundwire.net.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I like it when the girls stop by in the summer.
Love New Kids on the Block. This is good. This and like Will Smith, like the two. It's so catchy, it makes you want to like stab yourself in the fork with a fork in the eye, but I'm down. Bradshaw with you here. Webcast1live.com, fallonforum.com. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com, and find me on Twitter at Radio Bradshaw. Ron emails, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Just an observation. In driving around, I see a lot of Obama stickers popping up on cars, so Barry has his Iowa following, and they're not shy about showing it. I might see an old McCain sticker, maybe even an older W sticker, but I never see a Romney sticker. I don't know what that means come November. I do know that Rick Santorum won the caucus, and the Ron Paul people subsequently took over the Iowa GOP. Can't be a good thing for a candidate who expects to win the country when he's not popular with his own party in the swing state of Iowa, but who knows? We'll see. The Romney-mentum. Now, the really short form of this is the Republicans are running John Kerry. We tried this in 84. Republicans tried it in 96. We tried it in 2004. If at first you don't succeed, try again. No one likes the other guy, so I'm just going to be not him. Doesn't work. It's never worked. When a party is in transition or out of ideas or is just browbeaten, that's the way they go. I mean, in 2004, Democrats were whipped dogs. Part of it was just the shock of 2000, the lead up to the war when it was sit down, shut up, play along. Again, Democrats without backbone are more than happy to play their role. And it showed in 2004. That's the campaign we ran. And now in 2012, I told you, this is not a White House year. You know, the people who are writing the $75,000 checks, the people who are running super PACs, right, their job is for Mitt Romney to not cause damage down the ticket. Try not to get people to stay at home. Try to win the Senate, expand your lead in the House, win governorships and state houses, and work on that level. Come back in 2016. Again, the B team, you know, your Santorums and Gingriches have been flushed from the system like, you know, bad Taco Bell, which I know there's no such thing as bad Taco Bell, but you get what I'm saying. Come back fresh. The fever dream is over. The dysentery is done. That's what this election cycle is doing. My hope is that some good can come out of that. And so far, we're seeing that. Obama making a move on immigration. Political stunt? Yes. I for one, am okay when our politicians play politics in Washington, D.C., because that's what they're there for. And I'm more than happy to say, I disagree with that decision, or I think this is bad legislation. But the playing of politics is what they do. there's very little enthusiasm for Mitt Romney. And you know who agrees with me on this, by the way? John Boehner, Republican Speaker of the House, was at a fundraiser on the 30th. Woman stands up and asks, "Can you make me love Mitt Romney?" And he says, "No. Americans probably aren't going to fall in love with Mitt Romney, apart from the Republican nominee's friends, relatives," and then for some reason he throws in, "and fellow Mormons. His support will largely be driven by opposition to President Obama." So again, congratulations, John Boehner. You're now living somewhat, at least with one toe, in reality. Said, we're just politicians. I wasn't elected to play God. So when you ask, why you're not seeing those, Romney stickers, Romney signs, that's why. Again, as someone who, the day I put my Romney or my Obama Biden magnet. Don't like the stickers. I like to be able to change my mind. But the magnets I greatly enjoy. And I've had mine up since I think it was the first day they were available. Send me one. You're not going to see that from Mitt Romney. There's not a lot to get excited about. I see more Steve King stickers in central Iowa than Romney. I see more W04, the oval stickers, than I see Romney. Which, by the way, I don't let those people in traffic. You're going to have to wait for some other sucker to let you in. If you're sporting one of those bad boys, you've done enough damage. I don't want you in front of me on the roadway. It doesn't seem safe. But these people just aren't jazzed. There's not a whole lot to get jazzed about with Mitt Romney. This is why I think this, right now, is high tide for the Romney campaign. Again, there's enough anybody but Obama folks out there, and Romney has been very careful not to do anything that would offend them outwardly. Most of them at this point are aware that Mitt Romney was once pro-choice, that he was once, pro-gay rights, that he advocated that, this was a model, Romney Care, for the nation. His surrogates went out and said as much in 2007. Even Jim DeMint, who's the Tea Party darling now, proposed the mandate. Hell, and I thought this was the third rail. Mitt Romney signed an assault weapons ban. Because occasionally guns make it a lot easier for people to kill people. All of these should have been death sentences for a Republican candidate in 2012. Where anyone to the left of Michelle Bachmann's hairdo is not eligible to run for office, where even staunch conservatives get Tea Partied out and replaced by Christine O'Donnell, who's not a witch, she's you, which is the most offensive thing I've heard since you belong at Applebee's. I am not Christine O'Donnell. I wouldn't say that to my worst enemy. Because my worst enemy is not a witch that I know of. Let's see if they float. Romney's playing it safe. He's running the nebulous campaign. He'll throw out platitudes and things that belong on bumper stickers, but that's not a way to get people to put your bumper sticker on their car. I like freedom. Vote for me. He's one step above Dr. Lexus. Bro. As time goes on, as we move closer to November, that works less and less. Your base needs appeasement. You have to stoke the fire to keep it burning. You need to throw some wood on it, in this case, some political red meat. The problem you run into is that, again, 4 years of living in Glenbeckistan definitely changes your flavor in meat. And you lose your centrists, your Reagan Democrats, your Boswells, your yellow dogs. They run away. But if you pander to them, your base gets very upset. And we saw this in 2004. Karl Rove was smart enough to understand that there are a lot of, especially evangelical, more religiously minded conservatives who will stay home. They'll put on a VeggieTales DVD, see what Pat Robertson's doing, maybe watch one of those Kirk Cameron movies rather than go out and vote for Bush. This is why we saw gay marriage amendments pop up state by state by state. Put those initiatives on the ballot, because that will, not like in gay people, will draw that group to the polls. And while they're there, they're far more likely to vote for the Republican. This was the math that Karl Rove, a.k.a. Turd Blossom, not what I call him, that was George Bush's nickname for his political strategist. Other folks in my line of work called him Bush's brain. And he realized that this would be a very effective way to draw those people out, and it worked. So, why no Romney bumper stickers? There's why. I do like, and this is Jennifer Jacobs' article in the Register today, evangelicals haven't turned out for him in caucuses, but may give him a November win. And the gist of the article is that their dislike of Barack Obama will overcome their reluctance to vote for a Mormon, a rhino, and I don't buy it. I don't think it will work, because I don't think there's anything Mitt Romney can do to appease that group. The hardcore Rick Santorum loving Christian conservatives. They find Mitt Romney abhorrent, not just because he belongs to a religion they consider a cult at the worst, blasphemous at best. But because of record, I think they stay home. You know, the dacification of the Iowa GOP is complete, with a side helping of the Ron Paul dead-enders. There's no free space. I don't think Romney wins Iowa. I don't think after Labor Day we see a lot of money dumped in the state. My guess is it's given up. That's my hunch, and I know it's outside of conventional wisdom, which is why I think it's right. But I don't think the evangelicals turn. I don't think they're hating. Lord knows a lot of hay will be made trying to make them hate Barack Obama. But this is the one thing that Republicans can't stomach. It's one of those things. If you're unable to even realize it's a problem, you'll never find a solution. Because too many Republicans have eaten their own dog food. No, that's not to get rid of Social Security crack. I mean, you start believing your own talking points. You start believing your own campaign commercials. And here's what Republicans, again, will never be able to deal with, because they can't, this bit of reality doesn't enter their bubble. And that is, people like President Obama. They may not like his policies. They may not like his decision-making, but they like him as a person. And when it becomes, just over-the-top attacks, they backfire. That's the one shield that politicians have against negative ads. People don't love Mitt Romney. A lot of Republicans even don't like him. And he doesn't do a lot to endear himself to anyone. Hasn't yet, because he can't. If he goes for the centrist, the Tea Party, the far right, revolts. If he panders to the far right, he scares the bejesus out of normal Americans. And that's the hole he's in. And so far he's tried to play it down the middle, but as you get closer to Election Day, well, then you look like a wishy-washy stuffed shirt. Basically, Mitt Romney is coming up on a T intersection. And he has to pick a direction, because if you go straight, you end up stranded in a cornfield. He has to pick a direction, both with severe downsides if you're running as the Republican candidate for president. This road runs out. Which way will you merge? I don't think anyone at Romney camp knows yet. They may just run the car into the cornfield, which I'm okay with. All right. Again, all are welcome. Very few are capable, but you can call in 244-0077. Outside the metro, it's just 855-244-0077. But if you need that, you probably don't have a cell phone, which means you probably aren't good with computers and you're not watching anyway. So just 244-0077. Email radiobradshaw@gmail.com. And follow me on Twitter. You can find me there at Radio Bradshaw and see all the hilarious bon mots I like to throw up and around. So twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. Stop by, say hi. Be back right after this on webcastonelive.com and fallonforum.com. Thanks for watching.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of WebcastOneLive.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait, howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going, man.
What's the matter, distressed homebuyer?
I've been trying forever to buy a home, and I'm having a terrible time. I wish I knew where to go for help.
Well, I'm Joe Henry, licensed realtor, and I'm here to save the day and help you buy your home. I've been helping people buy homes in central Iowa for over 10 years. I've even got a full-size truck to help you move.
My hero. Thank goodness I found you. Make Agent Joe Henry your home buyer hero, too. Visit agentjoehenry.com. That's agentjoehenry.com.
If your computer's not running up to speed, don't waste any time with 1-800 numbers. Call your local professional at Mid-Iowa Computers. Known for excellent customer service, they can help you with all your computer needs, including 100% electronic malware removal. If you've just had enough of your computer or other electronic device, bring it in to Mid-Iowa Computers and they'll recycle it for free. For more information, visit midiowacomputers.com or call 515-210-8536 and get your computer fixed by someone you can trust.
I'm a burrito.
I'm a fighting burrito, full of fresh ingredients prepared before your very eyes.
I don't have eyes.
I have over 28 options and 268 million combinations, including Rizo for vegetarians.
I can take my meat off and call myself vegetarian.
Put that back on. The Fighting Burrito is locally owned right here in Ames.
I'm owned by some big corporation somewhere. Say, you want to go on a date?
No thanks. I'm seeing a quesadilla.
The Fighting Burrito in their new location at 117 Welch Avenue by Iowa State. Online fightingburrito.com. Join Join the fight.
Open Sesame is Des Moines' premier Lebanese cafe. This month, Open Sesame is offering an unbeatable lunch special on Monday and Tuesdays. Mention the Fallon Forum when you order anything on Open Sesame's delicious lunch menu and get the second item for half price. That's right, buy one, get one for half price. Open Sesame's pita wraps, salads, soup, and mouth-watering Mideastern specialties will have you and your dining partner coming back again and again. Open Sesame at 313 East Locust Street in Des Moines' historic East Village.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
I am ready. Let's go. 205 Bradshaw with you here Monday afternoon in the hot capital city of Des Moines. Here at Webcast One Live Studios, Kaleidoscope at the Hub. It's after 1 o'clock. Where is everyone? It's like Old West Town. I think I saw a tumbleweed come by. All right. Phone number is 244-0077, outside the metro, 855-244-0077. You can always email Radio Bradshaw, one word, Radio Bradshaw, at gmail.com, and find me on Twitter, at Radio Bradshaw, twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. See all the fun things I say about Mitt Romney, Chuck Grassley, Steve King, the Iowa GOP. All fun and I don't say anything to Ken Sorensen. He has me blocked. This is going to be fun. Today, the president announced again he would like a 1-year extension on the Bush tax cuts for people making under $250,000. Very straightforward, short and to the point. Followed that up with a threat to veto a bill that continues tax cuts on income over that. And by the way, this is guys like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have been pushing for a $1 million limit. And by the way, it doesn't matter because, of course, the Romney campaign immediately responded with, why is the president trying to, raise taxes on the middle class and small businesses? Like, what? Now, again, here in reality, it's actually a tax cut for even Bill Gates. I'll explain. See, the first $100,000 I make is in like unicorn land or something. But my first $100,000 I make, and the first $100,000, I don't know, pick a rich person who actually works for his money. Brian LaHare. Not really rich, but yeah. The first $100,000 Brian, all-star first baseman of the Chicago Cubs, Brian LaHare makes, and the first $100,000 I make, taxed the exact same. So if you cut, this is how tax brackets work. This is what Joe the plumber didn't understand. And this was the fun in 2008. Talk radio host was like, I'm asking for $249,999.99 because I don't want my taxes to go up. Completely missing the point that for that first $250,000 you pull in a year, your taxes don't go up. We all pay the same rates. Only income in a bracket is charged at that rate. But again, that's too nuanced for an 8-second soundbite, so it never makes it into the discussion. So, the president announces, I will stand firm on this. This, I command. He's going a little Serpentor, and I'm okay with that from time to time. Meanwhile, Cobra Commander Mitt Romney is stuck. And see, this is the fun, because immediately, again, conventional wisdom says, we did this dance before, and we know how it turns out. Republicans in the House say, no. We will give tax cuts to the rich people, too, because they're job creators. And if they were actually creating jobs, you could probably make that argument. But they're not, and I don't think it's going to fall on deaf ears. The difference between 2010, when we did this dance before, and 2012 is there's a Republican running for president in 2012. And that's going to, what's the correct term? allow, well, a much more in-depth discussion. It is certainly going to show a difference between Democrats and Republicans. And again, this is a case where Romney can't really respond. Republicans are running a super rich guy for president. I mean, they really couldn't have picked a worse candidate to go against Obama in an economic downturn, because they're running a really rich guy who's going to stand up on a lectern and say, cut my taxes, because I need another elevator in my garage. Not for people, for the cars. The cars need an elevator, apparently. That's a big house and a big garage. Can't do that. Not and maintain, your everyman persona that you've really tried to fix ever since you stood up with a bunch of black people and said, who let the dogs out in 2007? Who indeed? So Romney has some connection problems. A lot of fun, and this is, yes, probably not the most serious policy issue, but it was a lot of fun to watch yesterday as people discussed the Romney fundraiser in the Hamptons. For those of you who aren't familiar, the Hamptons is the vacation getaway for the rich and famous who live in, Manhattan. Oh, we take a helicopter to the Hamptons for the weekend. Ha ha ha. Yes, lovey, don't forget to pack the pools. That sort of thing. Now, yeah, fundraisers with rich people, this is a pretty common occurrence. Why do you rob banks? That's where the money is. Where are you going to raise funds? Rich people. Having the press there was probably not the best idea, because those people talked to the press. And we had some great comments. And these are all like $75,000 and up donors to the Romney campaign. People would pull up in their Porsche and go, is there a VIP entrance? I'm the VIP. One woman, a New York City donor who would not give her name, said, no one understands why Obama is hurting them. We've got the message, but my college kid, the babysitters, the nails ladies, everyone who's got the right to vote, they don't understand what's going on. I just think if you're lower income, one, you're not as educated. Two, they don't understand how it works. The poors are getting all uppity. One guy, Ted Conklin, owns the American Hotel in Sag Harbor, told the New York Times that Obama is a socialist. If I were Mitt Romney, I would bet Ted $10,000 that this guy can't explain to me what socialism is. Just a hunch. And his wife, Carol Simmons, nodding beside him in their gold Mercedes, said, tell them who was on your yacht this weekend. Tell them. To show how generous he was, Mrs. Simmons disclosed the fact that a major executive from Miramax, the movie company, they lent him their 75-foot yacht because there weren't any hotel rooms. Oh, that was nice. I mean, but that's Romney's audience. The rest he has to fool into coming along. And I don't know if it could work. And issues like this, when Obama signs an executive order on immigration, and it takes the Romney campaign a week to respond. And the president comes out today and says, nope, I am drawing a line in the sand. Now, the beautiful thing is, the Bush tax cut extension does not end until after the election. This isn't something that's going to be done away with before November. This is an issue right up until Election Day, and it's probably time we as a country have this talk. Now, Republicans will claim gloom and doom, and the sky will fall if we raise taxes 3.5% on income over $250,000 in a year. And same argument they make anytime poor people do not have wheelbarrows of money shoved up to their door, or rich people, with no evidence to back it up. All Obama is asking for is that, well, the top marginal tax rate go back to where it was under Bill Clinton. And boy, howdy, the economy sure sucked in the 90s. You can actually chart this. Well, how much did the economy grow when tax rates were 28%? Not very well. 35% like they are now. Not well at all. 36.9% grew like gangbusters in the 90s. You want to see some really impressive numbers? Look when the top marginal tax rate was set between 70 and 90%. Otherwise known as the 50s and 60s. The Republicans claim to love so much, but maybe it's just because they got their own drinking fountains. I don't know. This country grew like gangbusters. And there's some very simple reasons why. A, when your top marginal tax rate is 70, 90, 45, pick a number, you're more likely to invest money in that business. That means buying things. Understand, rich people are not job creators. Corporations are not job creators. Businesses are not job creators. Jobs are an expense. The only known job creator in the American economy is people spending money, demand. And if it's more lucrative to invest in your company than loot it, guess what? People invest in their companies. They buy equipment. That increases demand. They hire people who then are paid and then spend that money. That increases demand. All right, this isn't rocket science. Even Sean Hannity could figure out if he took a couple of seconds. Maybe need to make him some flashcards or a flow chart. The only thing that increases the velocity of money is people spending money. This is why stimulus worked. As people spent less, job security went down, states, cities spent less. The spender of last resort is always going to be the federal government. So when President Obama says, hey, let's ask, because Lord knows we have all sacrificed. We have all dealt with cutbacks, layoffs, benefit reductions. Meanwhile, CEO pay is back to pre-crash levels. Corporate profits, are record highs. In this, our time of national struggle, will the top 2% pitch in? That's a good debate to have, one we should have had years ago in this country, but Democrats, backbone is not our strong point. It's amazing what you can get done in an election year, huh? So having this debate, having this discussion, and again, it is a unified message. Because even the Democrats like Chuck Schumer, who said, no, 250,000 is too low. Now, it makes sense. These people come from very affluent Democratic areas. Nancy Pelosi's from San Francisco. It's very easy to find Democrats who make $300,000, even $450,000. So setting it at $1 million, again, makes political hay for them, but even they are falling in line. Chuck Schumer just announced that he's on board with the president. Let's cause the Republicans, again, a reaction equal and in some cases well above opposite reaction. Republicans have to respond. And it's funny. For years now, we've been polling. And even among Republicans, cutting taxes on the super rich polls very well. It's a good line in the sand to draw, and it's a good line to stand on. Again, not because I wish it to be true. I wish a lot of things. Because the evidence backs it up, and I have to go where the evidence is. Much like the president, well, solidified an already commanding lead among Latino voters with his immigration order. This is a good debate to have because it's a loser for Republicans, and they're not allowed. You're going to go to a Koch brothers, that's what one of these Hamptons fundraisers was. You're going to go to a Koch brothers event and say that we need to raise the top marginal tax rate? Probably not going to happen. George Bush was only half kidding as he showed up at one of those, super fundraisers where people drop in, $40,000 or whatever. And he said, you are my base. Again, only half kidding. And these are the events where Republicans kind of let down their guard. I don't have to play social conservative. I don't have to, bang a Bible against a TV camera. Here we can just talk amongst ourselves. But again, I don't think this was a necessarily genius move, but it was smart. I'd like it even more if Obama would follow through. But it's a unified front. We will veto, continuing tax cuts for incomes over $250,000, but every American is going to get a tax cut on the first $250,000 they make. And Republicans can't respond. It's beautiful. We need more of it. Talk about that and more when we come back. Got to take a break. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter, at Radio Bradshaw, just twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. Or, again, I don't recommend it. You can call 244-0077. Outside the metro, 855-244-0077. Anyway, Bradshaw back with you on a warm, but not overtly hot Monday afternoon in the capital city here on webcastonelive.com, fallonforum.com. Thanks for watching.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
What's the matter, distressed homebuyer?
I've been trying forever to buy a home, and I'm having a terrible time. I wish I knew where to go for help.
Well, I'm Joe Henry, licensed realtor, and I'm here to save the day and help you buy your home. I've been helping people buy homes in central Iowa for over 10 years. I've even got a full-size truck to help you move.
My hero. Thank goodness I found you. Make Agent Joe Henry your home buyer hero, too. Visit agentjoehenry.com. That's agentjoehenry.com.
If your computer's not running up to speed, don't waste any time with 1-800 numbers. Call your local professional at Mid-Iowa Computers. Known for excellent customer service, they can help you with all your computer needs, including 100% electronic malware removal. If you've just had enough of your computer or other electronic device, bring it in to Mid-Iowa Computers and they'll recycle it for free. For more information, visit midiowacomputers.com or call 515-210-8536 and get your computer fixed by someone you can trust.
I'm a burrito.
I'm a fighting burrito, full of fresh ingredients prepared before your very eyes.
I don't have eyes.
I have over 28 options and 268 million combinations, including Rizo for vegetarians.
I can take my meat off and call myself vegetarian.
Put that back on. The Fighting Burrito is locally owned right here in Ames.
I'm owned by some big corporation somewhere. Say, you want to go on a date?
No thanks. I'm seeing a quesadilla.
The Fighting Burrito in their new location at 117 Welch Avenue by Iowa State. Online, fightingburrito.com. Join the fight.
I love driving to Newton to see the races.
Me too, but I only have to drive across town.
You live in Newton?
Yep, Newton's got small town charm and it's close to Des Moines. I love the safe, friendly neighborhoods and family-owned businesses. And Newton's wind energy industry is really taking off.
How'd you find your home?
Dan Kelly with First Choice Realty. And Dan helped me find my office too.
Next time, instead of just speeding by, I'll stop in and check out Newton.
Why don't you check out Newton? Call Dan Kelly at 641-521-9260 or Dan Kelly at mchsi.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
And with the local DBC news, LL Cool J with a triumphant comeback.
724 Bradshaw with you here on a Monday afternoon. Thanks for coming along. Email me at radiobradshaw@gmail.com or find me on Twitter at radiobradshaw. Terry emails radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Bradshaw, I think you're wrong about evangelicals and Romney. Evangelicals vote regularly, so they will hold their noses and vote for Mitt because hatred of Obama runs that deep. Also, I did hear one talking head on NPR say the GOP is upset with Romney because he isn't discussing his plans or suggested policies. And this talking head said silence stems from his CEO days. He will slowly roll out his plans up to and including the convention. That may be too late for him, which would be very good for the country. Finally, you were wrong about the song. That wasn't New Kids on the Block. It was LFO. I thought you knew better. I do. What were the lyrics to the song? New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. And Chinese food just makes me hungry in another 3 hours. Please, you're going to step to me over my knowledge of crappy pop songs? I'm going to CNC Music Factory your ass. All right. I know, again, this is conventional wisdom. Evangelicals aren't a guaranteed vote. Karl Rove understood this. They are very fickle, and the bar to please them is very high. And they will stay home. Or they will show up and vote for Terry Jones or Fred Phelps or someone more their speed. We know this to be true. We've studied this stuff. By the way, both parties deal with it. 2010, again, turned into a wave election because Democrats stayed home. Turnout numbers were awful. We were tired of getting our butts kicked all over the place and seeing Democrats just sit on their thumbs and play along and concede and give up. And Obama came in with this just fetish for partisanship, for being the adult in the room and reaching across the aisle. Oblivious to the fact that Republicans had painted themselves into a corner. Even if they wanted to reach across the aisle, they couldn't. John Boehner tried to set up a grand bargain. He couldn't control his own caucus in the House of Representatives. Like, Obama literally handed them a deal that would have hamstrung him in 2012. This is his desire to, again, be the adult in the room. In the debt ceiling negotiations, which should have never been a fight to begin with, Barack Obama was ready to not just sell the farm, but allow drilling on South Fork. Yeah, I watched Dallas. You want to make something of it? Punk, step to me. Would have cut Social Security, would have cut Medicare. Republicans would have had ample room on the left to attack Barack Obama. And he was handing it to him on a plate, and they couldn't say yes because they had gone so kooky. Why did Karl Rove put a bunch of anti-gay measures on ballots in 2004? Because he knew evangelicals would stay home. They didn't come to vote for Bush. They came because they really, really didn't like gay people. And the thought of gay people getting married. That's what brought them, say, in Ohio. It brought people, to the polls across the country. And it worked. It worked flawlessly. Karl Rove and I agree. Evangelicals will stay home. Rove was also smart enough to understand that Latino outreach was very important. When Republicans forget these things, it doesn't go well for them. They do hate Barack Obama. But I don't know what it is in the conservative evangelical psyche that says, I won't. The enemy of my enemy is still my enemy. Isn't this one of the basic tenets of fundamentalism? And isn't that who we're discussing here? I mean, true. I mean, I know the term is been very is derogatory, but in a non-pejorative sense, isn't the basis of being an evangelical conservative a certain set of fundamentalism? They will cut off their nose to spite their face. We'll give our money to dead-ender Vanderplats. We will harm the future of the Iowa caucuses by voting for Moonbat Rick Santorum. And they will stay home on Election Day. Now, Western Iowa, yes, more of them will show up to vote for Steve King. Because brown people scare them. And Steve King says things that make them feel better. Some will show up, yes, because Glenn Beck has so inflamed them that they can't, I won't vote for a Marxist. When you ask them what a Marxist is, you'll get a lot of stammering and sputtering, and they'll probably call you a fag or something, but they won't go to the polls to put Mitt Romney over the top. Yeah, the dacification. And then this is, even go back to the early days of the Tea Party. When they were just laying out the AstroTurf in 2009. And even then, the national media was coming to Iowa going, what the hell is this? This isn't just a bunch of old people in rascal scooters and tri-corner hats bitching about the government doing anything. They're here talking about God and the gays. I watched the first, tax day Tea Party, and I saw a TV saleswoman telling me, how gay marriage is going to lead to the end of the world. I saw Chuck Hurley. Our GOP base has always been a bit different. The evangelicals took over. They saw a vacuum. The Iowa GOP, has made some serious strategery errors. And they allowed a vacuum. And, again, very specific term here. Not all Christians. Okay, so people always get upset, and especially with the things I've never said, but then they try to misconstrue the things that I do say. The Christianists, the people who really believe we should be teaching the Ten Commandments in schools. And only the Ten Commandments in schools. Or as I like to call it, Louisiana. You think I'm kidding? Have you seen the curriculums they're using down there? But the Christianists, the Daces of the world, saw a vacuum there and they filled it. And they've spread like a fungus. This is how people like Kim Pearson and Ken Sorensen end up in office. This is why it took hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, big promises to get Governor Branstad to get his feet off the desk at Des Moines University and run for office again. Give us one term. Our donors are tired of losing. We're getting our butts kicked. In an attempt to bring the party, because if Branstad had decided I like just sitting around collecting my $500,000 from not doing a heck of a lot, who would the Republican nominee for governor have been? Bob Vanderplatz. That's where the Iowa GOP is now. I understand conventional wisdom, but conventional wisdom is more often than not wrong. Dead wrong, flamingly wrong. So, I don't buy it. Now, that's just the Iowa GOP. And we're seeing, in swing states especially, Obama taking a lead. Just looking at swing states. Nationally, it's a very close race. Swing states, not so much. Why is that? One, the Bain attacks work. The Bain attacks are working. You're going to see more of them. People just don't have an inherently good feeling about vulture capitalism. Gordon Gekko is not a hero. The Republican base has been inflamed about Obamacare. We talked about this last week. The Romney campaign would very much like to call a ceasefire on the health care debate in this country, and the Republican base won't let them. Republicans are holding another vote on repealing Obamacare. Meanwhile, Democrats are rolling out ads instead of just, again, the nebulous term Obamacare, which polls very poorly. They're talking specifics, all of which, by the way, poll very well. Steve King wants breast cancer survivors to not be able to buy insurance. That's an 8-second soundbite that hits you where it hurts. Republicans want to throw 25-year-olds off their parents' health care plans. Iowa, Tom Latham wants health insurance companies to be able to spend as little money as possible on actual patient care and more on paying their CEO. Yeah, I'll stand on our side for that debate. Add on top of that Romney's record, out and out lying. Mitt Romney made money, not just outsourcing jobs, but also made money on buying the companies that helped other companies outsource jobs. Oh, and Mitt Romney profited from abortion. Again, third rail. These people are literally willing to endanger Iowa's entire Medicaid program and get the whole thing shut down over abortion. And Mitt Romney wasn't just pro-choice, wasn't just showing up at Planned Parenthood fundraisers, but made money off a medical waste company whose job partially was getting rid of aborted fetuses. That's what Mitt Romney actually did. And you're telling me that evangelicals they'll write in Jesus. I'm not kidding, by the way. There is actually a pastor out there who claims to have 125,000 signers to a petition to write in the name of Jesus Christ. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to see his long-form birth certificate because I think we have evidence he may have been born somewhere else. Although, yeah, I can't see evangelicals getting really excited because at the end of the day, I don't know if they'd vote for the Jewish guy. So, what does carpentry set you up to be president of the United States? That's like being a community organizer. So, no, I think there are serious problems with the evangelical community. I don't think Iowa is truly a swing state. Now, they may not love Obama, but I think the enthusiasm for Obama is much higher than the enthusiasm for Romney, and that does translate to get out the vote efforts. The Obama team is here. The president is making another trip. We keep getting the Bidens. Even Michelle shows up. I'm sorry, you can't win an election on just vitriol. It doesn't work that way. All right, 244-0077. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. And follow me on Twitter. I'm telling you, sign up for the Twitter. I cannot express my love for it enough. Rick Santorum is afraid I'm going to marry it. Twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw, just at Radio Bradshaw on Twitter. Stop by, say hi. Be back after this. It's Bradshaw on WebcastOneLive.com, FallonForum.com. Thanks for watching.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of WebcastOneLive.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going, man.
What's the matter, distressed homebuyer?
I've been trying forever to buy a home and I'm having a terrible time. I wish I knew where to go for help.
Well, I'm Joe Henry, licensed realtor, and I'm here to save the day and help you buy your home. I've been helping people buy homes in central Iowa for over 10 years. I've even got a full-size truck to help you move.
My hero. Thank goodness I found you. Make Agent Joe Henry your home buyer hero too. Visit agentjoehenry.com. That's agentjoehenry.com.
If your computer's not running up to speed, don't waste any time with 1-800 numbers. Call your local professional at Mid-Iowa Computers. Known for excellent customer service, they can help you with all your computer needs, including 100% electronic malware removal. If you've just had enough of your computer or other electronic device, bring it in to Mid-Iowa Computers and they'll recycle it for free. For more information, visit midiowacomputers.com or call 515-210-8536 and get your computer fixed by someone you can trust.
I'm a burrito.
I'm a fighting burrito, full of fresh ingredients prepared before your very eyes.
I don't have eyes.
I have over 28 options and 268 million combinations, including Rizo for vegetarians.
I can take my meat off and call myself vegetarian.
Put that back on. The Fighting Burrito is locally owned right here in Ames.
I'm owned by some big corporation somewhere. Say, you want to go on a date?
No thanks. I'm seeing a quesadilla.
The Fighting Burrito in their new location at 117 Welch Avenue by Iowa State. Online fightingburrito.com. Join the fight.
Open Sesame is Des Moines' premier Lebanese cafe. This month, Open Sesame is offering an unbeatable lunch special on Monday and Tuesdays. Mention the Fallon Forum when you order anything on Open Sesame's delicious lunch menu and get the second item for half price. That's right, buy one, get one for half price. Open Sesame's pita wraps, salads, soup, and mouth-watering Mideastern specialties will have you and your dining partner coming back again and again. Open Sesame at 313 East Locust Street in Des Moines' historic East Village.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Whatever happened to the old Q102? All right. Phil Crowley owes me a lot of money because he's one of the guys that he was the old night guy. You could 280-1102. Like I had it like for kids today texting with their thumbs had nothing on. I could dial that number on my my push button, POS phone so fast. That early 90s pop music just gets me. And I apparently my taste can sometimes get people in trouble. David emails radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Bradshaw, thanks but no thanks for your movie recommendations last week. I no longer have a vote on Netflix family movie night thanks to you. I told people, because you know what? The movie Tank is on Netflix Instant, and it is a great movie. And I don't care what anyone says. If you're not familiar, C. Thomas Howell, James Garner, some 20-year-old prostitute, and a tank. That is the best way I can think of to deal with a corrupt sheriff. Here's the question. What is so hard about tracking down a 33-ton tank that can only travel 25 miles an hour? I'm sure it'll get better, I said. Bradshaw recommended it, I said. That movie was more implausible than Iron Eagle. All right, don't be insulting Iron Eagle in my presence. David, I appreciate your email. Here is the name for you. Marvin Heemeyer. Dan, do you know who Marvin Heemeyer is? Do you know where Granby, Colorado is? On June 4th, 2004. You can tell me Tank is implausible? Marvin Heemeyer took his D355A Komatsu bulldozer, one of those big bulldozers, and took steel plates, poured concrete between them, set them on the sides of the cockpit, put a camera, put a gun turret on his bulldozer / tank. I will read you from the Wikipedia article. Use this bulldozer to demolish the town hall, the former mayor's house, and other buildings in Granby, Colorado. They couldn't stop what came to be known as the killdozer. No one died except Marvin Heemeyer, because he sealed himself in. This was a one-way trip. So you tell me it's implausible. I tell you it happened. This Heemeyer character was screwed over in a zoning dispute. I tried to screw him out of his muffler business. So he went A-team. So June 4th will be known as Killdozer Day from here on out. So David, don't tell me it's implausible. It's happened. I guess I should qualify. Most of the movie recommendations I make are for, like, hey, the family's gone and there's no game on. Yeah, some of the, when the lady friend falls asleep on the couch at 9 p.m. and I got some time to kill, that's when I watch a lot of it. I guess I should throw that on there, because that's when you're supposed to watch, Clash of the Titans, the original Harry Hamlin version. That's when you're supposed to watch Iron Eagle, but not Iron Eagle 2. I'd explain what Iron Eagle was to like a 20-year-old. I felt a little sad. At the end, I just want to tell him to get off my lawn. They just don't make cool movies like that anymore. Go watch Repo Man or something. All right. RadioBradshaw@gmail.com, or find me on Twitter. You can follow me there, @RadioBradshaw. Stop by and say hi. By the way, I was telling you about Louisiana's school program. What this is Bobby Jindal. Republicans love to privatize things because it's funneling government money into rich people's hands. What's more Republican than that? So we have private prison systems. And in Louisiana, they're privatizing the school system with entirely predictable results. In Louisiana, you can take your portion of school money. It goes away from the public schools and can be given to any private school you can get into. With the dual motive, again, funneling money to rich people, and in this case, a lot of religious organizations, and further starving the public schools to make them worse, so then you can then exacerbate the problem. Small problem with that, these top private schools are already at capacity. They have very few spots left. So what we've seen is a collection of bottom feeders pop up. That far more openings are available at smaller, less prestigious religious schools. The school willing to accept the most voucher students is New Living Word School in Ruston, Louisiana, which has a top-ranked basketball team and no library. Students spend most of the day watching TVs in bare-bones classrooms. Each lesson consists of an instructional DVD that intersperses biblical verses with subjects such as chemistry or composition. At Eternity Christian Academy in Westlank, pastor-turned-principal Mary Carrier is looking to find space to enroll another 135 voucher students. Her 1st through 8th grade students sit in cubicles much of the day and move at their own pace through Christian workbooks, such as a beginning science textbook that explains what God made on each of the 6 days of creation. They are also not exposed to the theory of evolution. According to the pastor-turned-principal, we try to stay away from the things that might confuse our children. Other schools use the curriculum written by Bob Jones University that says Loch Ness Monster is a dinosaur that disproves evolution, and the Trail of Tears was a good thing because it led many Indians to Christ. This is what we're actually teaching kids in Louisiana. As again, you lower the standards, and a bunch of grifters show up. I'm shocked. Who could have predicted this aside from everyone? Well, almost everyone. I'll explain in a second. Oh, and just, again, adding insult to injury, Governor Jindal, who actually does kind of look like Kenneth the Page, vetoed language that would have removed participating schools if their student scores lagged behind those in the lowest performing schools. In other words, even if all your students fail, there's no penalty for that. You can keep collecting. You can literally fail everyone and keep collecting your money. P.S. This is Mitt Romney's education plan for America, too. Just pointing that out there. Now, again, anyone could have predicted this except for, well, all right, this is just kind of funny. Valerie Hodges, she is a Republican who supports Bobby Jindal's school voucher program. Until she realized that, well, religious school doesn't exactly mean what she thinks it does. It says, I actually support funding for the teaching of fundamentals of America's founding fathers' religion, which is Christianity in public schools. I liked the idea of giving parents the option of sending their children to a public school or a Christian school. And then she found out that a Muslim school applied for the money. Now she has second thoughts. This is called the Establishment Clause of the Constitution. If you open religious schools, that means every religion, even the scary Muslims, the Scientologists. You could have a Scientology school teaching the story of intergalactic overlord Xenu and how humans evolved from clams. Yes, this is part of Scientology doctrine. You could have satanic schools, Wiccan schools. We need to ensure that it does not open the door to fund radical Islam schools. There are 1,000 Muslim schools that have sprung up recently. I do not support using public funds for teaching Islam anywhere here in Louisiana. Surprise. I want my religion to have special rights, and screw yours. Almost the basis of Christianists in this country. The Michelle Bachmans, the Bob Vander Platzes, all the kooks who try to run school boards. It's funny how, when reality enters their bubble, it's a lot like potassium being dropped in water. An example, the fundies don't get because it's not in the Bible, and they didn't get to that in science class. I would actually like to see a school based on the founders' religious. I wonder what a deism school focused on the Enlightenment would have to say. That might actually be an interesting curriculum. I wonder what this lady would think about if there was a school based on Jefferson's Bible. He would know something about the Founding Fathers, I think. But this is this is what happens when you privatize things. You privatize prisons, and next thing you know, that industry is pushing to put more people in prison. It's like a hotel room, except harder to put on orbits. You privatize the schools, grifters show up. We've seen this in higher education. All those for-profit universities, with horrible graduation rates, horrible job placement rates, who survive almost exclusively on federal funding. What do you think is going to happen when we do it for middle schools, elementary schools, high schools? A bunch of rip-off artists and grifters show up. All right, I'm out of time. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter. Follow me there, @RadioBradshaw. Back again tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. WebcastOneLive.com, FallonForum.com. Thanks for watching. See you then.